Hello everyone! Today I would like to show you how to add a texture to a portrait image. Adding textures to a portrait image can be a bit tricky. You want to choose textures that are going to complement your image without taking away from your subject. It can also require a little bit of masking. Let's start with this image of Lennox, and I'm going to pull him into Effects. Once we're in Effects, we're going to add a filter and we're going to add the Textures filter. In the Textures filter, there is a bunch of different categories that you can choose from, and within each of those categories, there are several different textures. I'm going to start in the Walls category, and I'm going to use the Cool Concrete. The first thing that I like to do is change the mode, and I'm going to change it to Replace, and I'm going to change the opacity up to 100. What I want to do here is I want to see if there's any color or anything that's going to tint my image within the texture that I'm using. I prefer to use grayscale images when I'm adding them to my image. This particular texture, as you can see, has a little bit of brown tones in it and a little bit of a blue-gray background. I don't want this to affect the warmth that I already have in my image, so I'm going to take the saturation and I'm going to pull that all the way down to -100. So now we have a clean grayscale image. I'm going to head back up to the mode, and you have several modes that you can pick from. My favorite is Subtle, so I'm going to change the blending mode to Subtle. And the texture is a little bit heavier than I would like, so I'm going to pull that opacity slider down to about a 40-ish. I'm also going to darken this texture up just a little bit. I want to pull that down just probably about 40 or 50 and get a little bit more darker on those edges. The next thing that I want to do is go ahead and mask out on his skin. So some textures are fine if you have it all the way over your image. This particular one affects him. As you can see, there's little spots right around on his face, and also his white shirt looks dirty. So I'm going to go over here and grab my masking brush. I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger, and I'm going to mask right over his face so we can pull that texture off of there. And we'll go ahead and go all the way down into his shirt just so we have a nice clean white shirt. So that is how I would add a texture to my image. Let's go ahead and finish this image. The next thing that I would do would be to add a little vignette. And I'm just going to use a subtle. And then I'm going to go ahead and sharpen my image. And I'm going to use the style for Portrait Sharpen. One thing I would probably do at this point is I want to keep the sharpness right around his face, but not necessarily on the whole image. So I'm going to go back to that Textures filter. I'm going to grab the mask and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to open the sharpening pane one more time, select the mask, and I'm going to paste it. So you can see that just pasted the areas that we masked on the beginning. Let's go ahead and invert that. And now that will apply the sharpening just to his face. Let's look at a before and an after. Like I said, there is lots of textures to choose from. You can also import your own if you have ones that you have shot. I encourage each of you to take some time to go through the textures or import ones of your own and find ones that will help complement and achieve the look that you're trying to get.